Yo, what up folks, MTG here with a bit of a spicy one, a deck that I've been working on a little bit over the past few days, kind of consuming all my magic time. That is Black-Green Lens, which is what I'm calling it, and there's a few different things going on here. So let's talk about the two kind of like, what are we trying to do? So firstly, you got Titania, Voice of Gaia, alongside Argoth, and you can flip into Titania Gaea Incarnate. Titania by herself, 3/4 with reach, whenever one or more create land cards are put into your graveyard from anywhere, gain 2 life. Being your upkeep, if there are 4 more land cards in your graveyard, that's condition 1, and then you both own and control Titania and Argoth, exile them, meld them into Titania Gaea Incarnate. Before we get on to the big thing, Argoth itself, ETB tapped, unless you control legendary green creature, taps for green, and then has this ability, 4 tap, create a 2/2 bear, mill 3 cards. That's what is a sorcery, want to remember. Then Gaia itself, Titania Gaea Incarnate, Vigilance, Reach, Trample, Haste, power and subs equals the number of lands you control, enter the battlefield, return all land cards in your graveyard to the battlefield tapped, and then 4 mana, put 4+1/+1 counters on land you control, gets haste. It's a big trampler, it recycles all your lands in your graveyard, it does a bunch of stuff, has a bunch of text. So that is thing 1, and then thing 2 is that we've got Dryad of the Ilysian Grove. Course, makes all your, well, along with the exploration effect, where you get to play initial land on your turns, all your lands of each basic land type. And then we have Dread Presence, which says, whenever a swamp enters the battlefield of control, choose 1, you can draw a card, and lose 2 life, or 2 damage to any target, and you gain 2 life. Pretty powerful, pretty powerful, pretty powerful. And so you have this kind of Valakut style effect that you could also select creatures of planeswalkers with, or just, draw cards. And so how are we kind of doing all this stuff? Starting off at 1, we've got 6 mana elves, only 6, with Llanowar Elf and Elvish Mystic, backing up Elvish Reclaimer. So the mana elves are fairly straightforward, just trying to get out of the gates as fast as possible. And then they're also interact well with a nice card in a moment. But Elvish Reclaimer you use to put land cards into your graveyard, 2 of the specific lands you need, whether that be Argoth or otherwise. And then gets bigger if you've got lands in your graveyard. It's a really powerful card, has seen some play in Modern and a bunch in Legacy, but hasn't really found a home in Explorer or even Pioneer because of the lack of fetch lands. And so we've got a couple of different tools up our sleeves to take advantage of that. Looking at Riveted's Outlook here, which says ETB, sacrifice it, search your library for a basic swamp, mountain, or forest card, put into your battlefield tap to gain a life. This is kind of integral to the deck in that it powers up your Reclaimer very, very quickly, but also, for example, like when you sacrifice your land for Reclaimer, if you go fetch one of these, it puts an extra land in the graveyard to make 2, and then if you've got one already, so you just turns into 3/4 straight away. But then also you want the lands in the graveyard for Titania, to then go and flip into Gaea Incarnate. Obviously triggers it normally. You also want lands into the battlefield for Dread Presence. So with Dryad and Dread Presence, Rota's Outlook gives you 2 ETB triggers. We've also got Lotus Cobra coming up in the 2-drop slot, so we'll get into those now. Lets you, again, get out of the gates very, very quickly. Obviously, a lot of the cards you're casting are like quite expensive, 3-4 mana. You need to be able to keep up with other decks in the format, and so Lotus Cobra helps you do that. You have a bunch of cards that let you kind of pop off with Lotus Cobra, be it Reclaimer, costs effectively like a mana cheaper. Again, there is this Outlook to kind of take advantage of this effect. Then we'll just skip over this for a second, but go to Fiend Artisan. Fiend Artisan is another really kind of nice tool that gets to play. 2 black-green hybrid, 2 mana total. Plus up sword for each creature in your graveyard, fair enough, but this ability to tutor black-green hybrid X, tap, sacrifice another creature, search your library for a creature card mana value X or less, put onto the battlefield, then shuffle. Activate as a sorcery. Again, sorcery. But to bear in mind, but you get to play this powerful creature tutor to then go and grab your Dread Presence, your Dryad, your Titania, whatever you need. And you have some sort of silver bullets as well, like the Scavenging Ooze you mentioned before, just for a little bit of graveyard hate main deck. It's one of the nicer pieces you can play. And so, yeah, one of Scavenging Ooze in the main. But yeah, Fiend Artisan lets you tutor for the pieces you need. We've also got a couple, like I said, we've got a couple of silver bullets here. The Ramanap Excavator, which lets you rebuy lands from your graveyard. Tireless Tracker for card advantage. The Scavenging Ooze. Polukranos, which is an interesting one versus some mid-range decks, where it's a massive body, but then you can also start fighting things. And it's obviously recurable. And then you have a single copy of Cavalier of Night, which I wanted its effect to tutor for that you could kill something with. And I decided Cavalier was the best one because also it gets lifelink, and also you're trying to stabilize versus aggro decks. That's quite important. It also has the upside if you sacrifice it when it dies again, you get to return a creature with CMC 3 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield, which again can pull back any of your powerful 3s. Really, really nice. Alright, so we kind of hit these. While we're up here at the top, Golos, fairly self-explanatory. We do have a 1/over copy of the Wild Trainer mana base to then start going to get with Golos. Obviously, it does tutor for other lands, and it is a creature that you can search for with Fiend Artisan to then grab you a land, and you can start either going off with Golos or doing other things here. And we have some. The mana base is one of the more interesting parts. Dryad Ilysian Grove, fairly straightforward again. Combo, but also as you play initial land on each turns. And the Excavator, grab lands for your graveyard. Tireless Tracker, which is, if you're not aware, my favourite card in Magic the Gathering. I've played an awful lot of it. Yeah. Obviously, lands into the battlefield. Yeah, get counters, draw cards. Just fairly self-explanatory. Yeah. Great versus mid-range control. The Titanians themselves, the 4 copies of Dread Presence. Dread Presence is an interesting one. Obviously, it is quite clunky at 4 mana, and you don't want to have it stranded in your hand. I was tempted to cut the number down to 3, but it is kind of the main thing you're trying to do in the deck. So we're maxed out on 4 Dread Presence and 4 copies of Dryad of the Ilysian Grove. There are some other tools potential as well, because you could potentially run less of these, because obviously you can tutor them with Fiend Artisan. What I was going to say before was that it's a nice thing with Fiend Artisan, because you're coming out of the gates out with the mana creatures. Once you're like, oh, I've got a bunch of lands to play now, you can then start sacking the mana creatures to go tutor creatures you want with the Fiend Artisan. Sorry, I'm skipping around a little bit here. Cavalier, Golos. Okay, so there are a few different bits and pieces that I've decided not to play at the moment. I've been tweaking around and testing a few different things, and this is something I'm still kind of working on. I just wanted to showcase it. So if you have any ideas, please let me know in the comments. One idea I had was like playing Wild Shaper, which obviously 4 mana, 3/3. When it attacks, you mill 3 cards, but importantly, when it dies, you get to bring all the lands from your graveyard back. Kind of like a sudden reclamation. I've tried out like Scape Shift in the main deck. Is a little awkward here. There is like I've seen a Bring to Light list, which unfortunately we do not have an Explorer yet. Soon TM. Explorer Anthology 3, please. With like one of Omnath, a Wing Grace, some all kinds of pretty crazy stuff that also had I literally just said the word Scape Shift and Sudden Reclamation in there. I was like, ooh, that's kind of sweet. But in itself, the current build, like the tools we have access to in the format at the moment, I don't think that's quite good enough without that Bring to Light package. So that was one of the things I was testing. Let's have a look at the actual mana base. So we've got these 4 Rivers' Outlooks, which again, really, really good with the Reclaimer, really, really good with Dread Presence and the kind of like normal like kind of combat element here, and also integral to get Titania, the 4 lands for to then flip into Titania Gaea Incarnate. And then we have a Field of Ruin, which again, multiple land triggers, but also has the ability, like the versatility to go after your opponent's lands, troublesome things, Nykthos. There was a point where I had more Fiend Artisans and was trying to like had a one of Nykthos in here. There's a bunch of different options. That's one of the things where you can really tailor this to your playstyle, how you want it. And I've tried a few different things out, and this is where I'm at the moment. Points have played Nykthos. Castle Locthwain we've got in here at the moment, along with Memorial to Folly. The castle's fairly straightforward. We don't have a ton of like physical actual swamps. Again, don't have Urborg yet. Wizards, please. But hey, extra card advantage. Memorial to Folly is a land that you can also kind of recur. Gets back creatures. Re-grab your important bits and pieces. You have obviously just 1 copy of Swamp and 8 forests. You only need like 1 black mana in the deck, basically, apart from this Cavalier Knight, which hopefully you're tutoring for, but then you also have ways to kind of make that mana work. Then the 2 Argoths, Besagi, obviously fairly straightforward. 2 copies of Lair of the Hydra, none of the black man land, just because it scales really, really well, it gives you something to do with all your mana. 4 copies of Ogre and Tomb, which is actually not necessarily, like, I wanted more untapped lands and to have a few more black sources. The deck plays really well off basics because obviously you're primarily just heavy green, and then also you want to have like there are situations where you're like, oh, I want to get like the 10th basic, and you're like, oh, I can't because you've recurred like either Rivers' Outlook or Field of Ruin a few times. You can also play things like Fable Passage. There's tons and tons of different options. So I'm being 4th Ugin Tomb here, a single copy of the Word Tree, which kind of fixes your mana for you, but you can also lets you do Golos things. And then again, the Field of Ruin and the Riveted Outlooks. Alright, cool. There's a lot here. There's a lot. And there's a lot of different like bits and pieces that you can twiddle around with and tweak. And there are a ton of different, because you obviously have the tutors, there are a bunch of different bullets you can try and play. One of the things that I'd really like to have access to is Agent of Erebos, as a better way to exile graveyards than the Scavenging Ooze. But we don't have that in Explorer yet. Agent of Erebos is a 4-mana 2/2 enchantment. It says whenever an enchantment enters the battlefield, exile target player's graveyard. And obviously you have like the Dryads, you have other bits and pieces. At one point I also had a Corsair Crucifix in here. Trying to give the card some love. Unfortunately, that did end up getting cut. There is still there's so many things that I'd like to fit. But yeah, I'm gonna go through the sideboard and then we're gonna head into some ranked games. The sideboard at the moment is a little sporadic. We have 3 copies of Thoughtseize and a couple of copies of Power Kill. If you want to play like the Thoughtseizes versus combo, the Power Kill versus aggro decks. Because you have a bunch of cheap creatures yourself, you can't really access traditional sweepers that well. There is potential to play something like Extinction Event, just because like you have like 1s and 3s, you can kind of play around it, but it's pretty hard to make that work. So a couple of kill spells just to kind of keep your opponents fair, and then Thoughtseizes verse is combo or potential control. 2 copies of Shaper Sanctuary for those control matchups where they're trying to kill all your stuff. Getting to draw cards where they're trying to kill through all combo pieces. Typically, like they don't have a good way to interact with your land's game plan anyway. Like hey, you can just like start making 2/2s or whatever, even if they've got answers to your normal creatures. Then we have another Scavenging Ooze versus Graveyard decks, and a second copy of Tireless Tracker versus Mid-Range and Control. 2 Obstinate Balos. This is an interesting slot where I wanted something sizable that could clunk the board up that would also gain you some life, buy you some time versus red decks. Both that you can, or well, aggro decks in general, white as well. Both that you can tutor for with Field Artisan, but it's also fine to like kind of just play on curve if need be. Also, it's the upside, like if you play against something where like with a ton of discard, you can kind of get them there. That's fair enough. It is what it is. But Balos is kind of the card I am using in that slot at the moment. There was a point where I was playing Cetesian, a Cetesian Positioner, which is the 3-mana 2/2 gain a life for each registered green you have. And I just thought the Balos was better, just 'cause it really gives a body they have to kind of get through and work through. It's just harder to get off the board. Then we've got a couple of copies of Terra Sunder, which it does a bit of everything. Obviously, primarily versus Artifact Enchantments, being able to, if there's a deck where you've got like, alright, I can't deal with this X or Y, it's a bit of a catch-all answer that you can get access to here. And then 2 copies of Vivian, again, versus mid-range control decks. You can make Vivian really, really early because of your mana creatures and the Lotus Cobra. And often they think they can rely on sweepers to kind of clean things up, and you're just like, I'm going to make a Vivian, and I'm just going to make a bunch of creatures. And it also obviously gets you the card advantage off the top of your library too. Vivian's excellent, one of my favourite sideboard cards out of kind of these like green creature decks. And yeah, let's get into some matches. That's 13 minutes, which is longer than normal. I might only play a couple. I will see you in some ranked games. Alright, getting into ranked game number 1. This is also the point where I say, hey, if you're just here for the deck tech or whatever, please do subscribe to the channel if you don't mind. I'd really appreciate it. I try and make and cover as many different Explorer decks as possible. Especially with Brexit always want to come out, we get some new cards into the format. Should be fun times. Gonna hop on the play here. So we don't have a ton going on with this hand. We have Elf plus Titania. We have the Laird to kind of like kick things off, so we have a land to kind of back up. We have the Memorial to get back things. I think I'm going to keep, even though we're kind of flooded on lands, but we're kind of okay with that. As long as we draw something to do. The one thing notable is that none of these lands really put lands into the graveyard. So, hey. We don't have a good way of enabling the Titania early. So we'll see. We'll see how it plays out. Yeah, I try and cover as many different decks in Explorer as possible. This one's pretty near and dear to my heart, and is a bit more of a project than me presenting like a complete deck to, hey, go craft and play with this and do well on ladder with it. I just... Elvish Reclaimer, Tireless Tracker, Titania, that's some of my just favourite Magic cards all time. So hey, this is more of a, hey, this is a thing I'm working on. If you've got any ideas, let me know. Alright, opponent happy with it. Did keep 7, it looks like. lead, get the layer out of the hand, and make an elf. See what our opponent's up to. You got Yorion. Now, I normally say if you see Yorion, it probably means they're on fires. But I'm also normally wrong when I'm recording. I think the last few times I said that, it was like blue-white Yorion control. But hey. The Karuga version of the deck, obviously, Karuga Fires obviously plays Karuga. We're seeing Raga and Triumph here, which does heavily imply Fires to me. Your presence is nice. It means we've got a good play the turn 4. The one thing with it is that we're going to want to sandbag this Overgrown Tomb, maybe. Because without the Dryad of the Ilysian Grove, obviously it only triggers off of actual swamps for the time being. I would like to get Titania out just that we're applying some pressure. And so I think I'm going to lead Forest. It kind of is like, maybe we do end up having to use Overgrown Tomb. But we can make that decision next time. We'll have to use the Tomb if you want to cast a Red Presence. I'd rather get the pressure on now. Like, taking a turn off seems bad. Ideally, we kind of draw something else to do, and we can play like the Memorial of Folly. Your Presence turn after. That's fine. Get rid of the elf. You got plenty of lands. Okay, Reclaim is a decent draw. Given that, I'm going to play the World Tree. I'll play Memorial to Folly because I want to get that in play rather than give stuff away. Do it this way around. Alright, so it looks like they're on enigmatic fires, given Trial of Ambition. And that makes sense with the Yorion as well. The enigmatic incarnation kind of like play enchantments, play other enchantment, sacrifice enchantments, get creatures. Does that make sense? Yeah, okay. Sure. It's interesting. Them having particular bullets with the enigmatic version might be a little worse for us than normal. Okay, we're facing down a Fable anyway. Okay. Right. We can make Dread Presence and then start tutoring for lands next turn. The other option is to like go play World Tree, let's tutor for lands here, threaten actual getting Titania online. I think is fairly reasonable. Yeah, I'm gonna attack with Titania, activate Reclaimer. I'm gonna probably sacrifice a forest, go get an outlook, to get a couple of lands in our graveyard. And then next turn, the turn after, we can maybe look to go and get Argoth. At the minute we're at 0. We've got a lot of work to do. We'll see. See what they ditch here. I'm curious. The one thing is that we're giving them quite a lot of time to set up. Okay, they have fires. Sure. And then do they have... Oh, that I can see what they can attack. You in fact can, unfortunately. Oh. That's something else I want to cast. You want our Omen now. Fair enough. The other alternative is that we get the Argoth into play and then we can look to activate Argoth next turn, rather than commit the Dread Presence out, which I don't mind, actually. Yeah, they're just going to pass it, no second spell. Activate. Like a forest. Okay, get life. We can go get Argoth, which is just 1. We can go get... They've got base. We're not gonna filter them out of the game. Hmm. I'm gonna grab Outlook. Yeah. This is the other thing. There's a bunch of like pretty nice incidental life gain here. Now, do we show? We've just played as if to get around playing this turn. To get an extra 0 damage in. I don't want to commit to the board. In case our opponent has some kind of sweeper. They have. Yeah. Oh no, because these are. They have 4 types. The worry here is that they can. Alright. Nice looking out fires, you get to play these cycle lands. They've not had an enigmatic incarnation so far. It would be pretty brutal. Well, not. It in itself isn't brutal, but it will lead to some pretty horrible things for us. They also don't have 6 lands yet, which means they can't play binding off of fires. So they do have a treasure and a white source. They've got the. They can cast it. But you have to do like a little bit fairer. See. Got 1 spell left to cast. Maybe they're not that worried. Hmm. Things we don't have. Sure. So we can Dread Presence, Overgrown Tomb, kill the Reflection. Kind of wipe the board here a bit. Oh, they're gonna attack here. Maybe they have like a Bone Crush Giant. They have priority right now. What's going on? At this point, we go get the Argoth if it's gonna die. I think we are still lands away. The other thing is that once this ability's because the sacrifices are costs, they can't like and then like in response like get it. So we have 3 lands in our yards. I think we gotta grab this. That's fine. Do they have the? They just play the presence, right? They cycle to. Okay, cool. They've got an oath. All right. So they have 3 mana. I'm just trying to think what kind of sweeper effects they can play. They've got sack to 5, sack to 4. I think I'm gonna go with some stuff. Shock this so we can activate. Then truly threaten everything. Get rid of this. Get that out of the way. Seems a little slow, but because if we do go white, we have the castle, we have Argoth to start making stuff. Got a bit left in hand. The Karina Fire's deck generally plays like a 1-of Supreme Verdict, but I don't think the enigmatic version does. They have Yori in here, which lets them recycle quite a few things. Oh, they have a Leyline Binding. Resolve, see what they take. What? Can't go get a Sagittary Step, unfortunately. But not that powerful. Looking Yorian. Okay. At least it's a stat that triggers. Oh wait, they'll resolve in this order. Oh, it's rough. Um, so we can go to Europe cards to draw. With the Red Presence, because we're going to get a board wiped here. That's probably the best thing to do, right? Yeah. Got Castle. See that end. We're going to lose the Reclaimer to the trial. He's got some stuff going for us. You get to draw a pile of cards. What this draw step is. Reclaimer. So you have double Reclaimer. Folly costs 3 to activate. Once we can't activate either of these. Now we could go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I kind of like double Reclaimer, make a bear. We can go double Reclaimer, draw. Go double Reclaimer, memorial. We know Titania gets under there. Well, I had a Reclamation Sage floating around in here, but cut it. Let's go. I should have done this. I should actually. I'm on 24, I think. Cycle Tower, sure. Oh, one of the other cards I haven't talked about yet is Ancient Green Warden. I'd rather draw the card than make a bear. The card could be much better. Alright. We're in a spot. Took a little too long. Given time to set up with Yorian. Yeah, so I had an Ancient Green Warden in here, which doubles the triggers from lands enter the battlefield, and it also has the Ramming Up ability to play lands from your graveyard. Oh, well, that almost certainly spells close to game. So it doubles up all your Dread Presence triggers, for example. It's pretty cool, but it costs 6 mana. It's quite expensive to tutor for. Even. They're on 14. The thing. Lands and Explorer Pioneer haven't been quite good enough by themselves to like justify Reclaimer getting played a bit more. The one place I have seen it played a little bit was in Pioneer when what's the elf card? Leaf Crown Visionary first came out. We get Dread Presence. We get the Dread Presence back, which the Dread Presence get us out. It was a good shot. It's a lot of cards. The thing is that the deck's really good using its mana, so we already got it. Want to use mana for Reclaimer. Downside of having at the end of the day, we kept like a pretty uh near mid hand. Yorion also currently is stonewalling us a bit. How'd that be 2 math? They have a 6, so they can go to up like Homer or well, though to be fair, they can't really sacrifice it anymore. So they might just not be afraid of Gaia. Do the second one as well. We're really incentivized to keep the Reclaimers alive. But I don't know what our chances are. Oh, they might have a giant Gaia as well. Actually. Given that too, and they have all their mana, I think we get to leave some stuff up here. If we get to double Dread Presence, especially if we draw into, that's a little scary. Especially if we draw into a Dryad, then we're in a really nice spot. Okay. Oh, they can sack fires, go get another Yorion. Will they do that though? Is a question. If we have an untapped land, we definitely get to go. We get to go Dryad Dread Presence stack 2. We'll see what they grab here. We go for 4. What's 4 gonna be? It could just be like a Ravenous Chupacabra. There's a Shield Dread. Okay. Well, that does impact both light totals a little slowly. I could have made. No, because I don't know what they're shooting for. I don't want to respond to that. Okay. Double up here. Yeah, out of overgrown teams. That could be actually. Yeah, I should have drawn. I should have drawn cards before instead of zapping this. Probably. That's an interesting one. Okay. Is that Memorial to? I could draw to something. We don't have that many swamps we can find. We don't have that many natural swamps. You go Dread Presence, Ramen Activator, Overgrown Team from Yard. I guess 2 triggers. I can't do that and then. Oh, is this where I can threaten a bit? Okay. Or we could like thin a ton. This is tough. We dead if they. We take how much we do? I said I was going to record 2 matches. We did like a 13-minute attack, and then this has been a 20-minute game 1. Partly my fault. To be fair, this is close to like if we draw like the exact right card, maybe. Like basically, we want to draw Dryad. Draw Dryad win game. See how they attack. A Fable. Pain, pain, pain. Flies. Alright, they can start like at Yori and this is done. Surely. They're just gonna go down. Just a quick do they have it check. Yeah, I don't want to play through resolving all this. Alright, alright. We're losing a little too much. So we want our Thought Seizers. I feel like I want these Shaper Sentries, but versus the Enigmatic Fires deck, they're less good. They've got things like Trial and Ambition. The black Trial that makes you sacrifice creatures. I do like Advocates. And I quite like Tireless Tracker. And I like Terra Sunder. Ew. All of a sudden this is looking not so cool. Let's have a look at what we want to cut. I don't think we need the Cavalier. I don't think we need the... So this gives us a versatile threat at least. I don't feel like we're scavenging these. The creatures that we're worried about like anti-battlefield abilities, not like them being huge themselves. Like the Gargaroth is big, but like we should be able to deal with that deal. Like I think because they're kind of trying to keep us off having a ton. Well, they're sort of trying to have us off, keep us off having a pile of creatures in play. We can't bring all of this. To trim down on some combo pieces just because they're gonna have some interaction for them. So I'm going to go down a Titania, down a Dryad, and down a Dread Presence, and I'm also going to cut a Lotus Cobra. Just so we're a little bit more dense. I'm going to have a pile of mana. Other than that, I want to cut, like, card? Pain. Think about it again. Aerisunders, I think, are worthy. About the gate first. Garlo seems fine. Not great. That's other things. We are a 26 land deck. I thin down a little bit. Again, more dense this way. More dense. Alright, let's see what we get. Oh, to play first? Oh. Greeted immediately by a one-land hand. Again, there are a ton of like pure black sources in the deck. You do have them, and you have ways to find them or make them. Yeah, this looks okay. We're on the mulligan. Probably put the Golos back because we've got a 3-land hand. Makes the most sense. The other cards are very castable. Aren't deciding if they want a mulligan here. Yeah, there's a bit of thought paralysis onto what to actually include. Like I said, I did have a reclamation stage in, but it feels very, very underwhelming. It's like obviously like when you go to play it, you kind of think of the optimal scenario, but not kind of having it in your hand in where it's bad, being like, oh, I've got this reclamation station. Every spot's kind of so I don't know important. If there was like Thrashing Brontodon, I was a little bit closer on just because that can beat down a bit as well. Obviously, it costs you more mana to activate. If there was like a, what I actually want is like an acidic slime that does everything. But hey, right, yeah, keep this bottom of the Golos, like I said before, and we'll lead off with the Argoth tapped. We still have a chance for an explosive start because we've got the Lotus Cobra. Yeah, I'm going to hold on to the Overgrowth 2 for now. This gives us a turn 3 Dread Presence, which we can then start drawing cards with. If they have an answer. It looks like, okay, they've got a trial here. Fair enough. We're still going to run Guy out on 3. No reason not to do that. The Overlook actually is not a bad pickup. Depends what we draw here. But on the mulligan, we're already looking a little worn. The other thing is you can go up, down on like Fable Passage, and that's okay. Huh. 3 open mana. I want to go all in. This is 5 mana to activate, bear in mind. I think I kind of need to play the Dread Presence. We'll clear space with the attack first. Like, I'd like to get Dread Presence online, but I'd also like to get lands in the graveyard for Titania. They're gonna have interaction for one of those things. This is the bit where they go like turn 4, just hard cast Land of the Void or something. Or they go like Fable Land of the Void. Yeah. Make the second Argoth. Alright. They're cycling. Okay, so they have the fires, and then they have... Ooh, they have the Incarnation straight away. Okay. Apparition. On the Presence? Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, well that's a solid draw. I must say. I probably want Trample for now.
I love making new friends.
So that's the like first level. They have the turn for Fires Enigmatic. They got to use their 2 mana enchantment to get a 3. So now it depends what they've got to do here. They can go grab another 3 cost. Sorry, I say this 3 Simsy card. They can get another 3 costs. Sometimes they have a couple of different apparition style effects. Maybe that's like a Deputy Ascension or something like that. Or they could sack the fires and go get a 5. Reuse the Yorion, for example. Like, go just get the Yorion now for a bit of value, draw a card, exile an extra thing. Sure, I get a 4/4, but hey, that can get blocked. Gets the Titania out of the way. This is the worst case scenario where they have the exact answer for the Vivian. At least now they're probably not going to go sacrifice it getting... Oh, wait, how does the triggers work? If they sacrifice it to Incarnation to get Agent and Treachery, do they get to steal it? I can't remember. They're not going to. Alright. They also might not have Agent and Treachery. The 7 drops do vary a little bit. Okay, there was second apparition. I'll take the Titania. Alright. Well, we're pretty screwed. I'm gonna make a bear. I could have not done this. But we'll attack. They can double block, but we get like a 4/4 or a 3/3. That's fine. And we're incentivized to use. Get some thinning, get close to have lands in graveyard for thing online. Alright. It's weird to call it the nuts, but they had the trial fires enigmatic and then the Leyland Binding floating. That's the nice thing about the deck is that it's get that. Like without the fires, you still get to do enigmatic incarnation, sacrifice your value 2 mana enchantment. This is all because I called the enigmatic deck tier 1.5 and the Kruger Fires deck the tier 1 version the other day, by the way, in my Explorer kind of recap video. Looking back at Explore Anthology 2. Yo, a Calyx?
The selfish will be brought to order by my hand.
We'll take a draw step, but we're dead here. They have a bit too much. Yeah, I took the Reclamation Sage out of the main deck and then forgot to put one in the sideboard. It's not a great look. Should have just swapped it over. Even so, like, there's just so many. It does go this way. Yeah, you do get to go get the Agent of Treachery.
Cat dinosaurs? I love Ikoria.
That's what you say? Yeah. That's how I thought that worked. I was surprised I didn't do that before. We get the Tyrus Thunder, but it's far, far too late. Okay, okay. Well, that's game 1. See you in game 2. Alright, second match coming right up. Yeah, that was a rough one. It would have been nice to draw Dryad. I feel like those games would have gone differently if we had Dryad in kind of conjunction with our hands. Obviously, if you take any 7 card hand and add a card to it, then it's going to be good. But hey, we went through quite a lot of our deck in game 1, didn't hit one. But hey, new game, new me. Got Elf. Oh, okay. We'll keep this. This game's going to play out a bit differently. We got the turn 1 Elf. If it doesn't die, we have turn 2 Feedars, and then we can get the Argoth out of our hands. Downside of the Argoth is that it comes into play tapped most of the time. Well, a lot of the time. See, I probably went down to 5. Alright, they have an Elf also. Let's do this. Go Black Source and play early because we've got the Cavalier floating around in our hand, which is awkward. We do have the Dryad to help us cast it. We kind of want to draw a land here. Alright. Like a better way to sequence. Really. So their 3-card hand's been pretty good. If they have like a Nykthos here, they're off to the races. Ah. Nuts. They do have a Nykthos. Can make this next turn. This. Take the transform. I don't want to. I want to try and leverage our Fiend Artisan if possible. Get Golos here, but I think we're better off just going Cavalier. Getting the Oddity out of play. We can also then mess around with some other stuff. Some other shenanigans. Just sacrifice the Fiend Artisan or sacrifice the... Oh yeah. That's fine. 5 mana coming. Get this Artisan gone, we can use the other one. Take care of that. They still have mana though. Well, actually, kill your growth troll because it still adds devotion, which is okay, not fun. What? That was a mulligan like no other deck, or something. All right, so what we got here? We have, the Cavalier has lifelink at least. Cavalier also brings back the Fiend Artisan. We can make Golos, which at least blocks one of these. So they can pay to transform it. Here's the best we got. Or we can go Fiend Artisan Tireless Tracker from hand. It would be good to get the Fiend Artisan into the Golos into. We get to get the Fiend Artisan into play because then we can go get Interstep. This is final. If they choose to flip the Oddity, then we're in a spot. Bother. grab a piece of life. Okay, so the Cavalier can block, the Golos can block. Okay, Flashback's on the festival, which I think is better for us than flipping one of these. Because A8 that gives all your other... Yeah, okay, so never mind. Take back everything I said. They're gonna attack, they don't attack this time. Oh, pain. We are dead to that. These are trample, give all the creatures... This is a cool way to build green though. Yeah. Yeah, no, we've been done. Alright. Oh dear. Sack the elf. You got two actual goals in hand. If we don't sack if we sack the elf there instead, we still need something to sacrifice to grab the presence. And then we still have to grind through like 6/4/4s. I want the power word kills. I don't want Forces to slow them down. I think that's harder to bring in here. Just tear us under. I think that's reasonable. We're not really after trying to grind them out with card draw. The Pelucranos is interesting, but the things it's fighting kind of don't mind dying. Makes it a bit more awkward. The Cavalier is alright. These we're not worried about. I think trimming Golos. Us going Golos is worse than what the mono green deck's doing going big. Alright. Well, that didn't look super favourable. A lot of lines. This looks okay, but on the play, I think it should be alright. The kind of deck that you want to like just jam 80 cards into. We're not. So just clear that up. But hey, he's out. And I've also flip-flopped a bit on Fiend Artisan. At one point I did have 4. I was playing like a Nykthos and stuff to try and really power out the activations, but it's kind of medium. So from our perspective, we can Titania here, we can Dryad. Neither of those are really getting us at the moment. The one thing with Titania is that I wouldn't mind sacrificing one of them. Which sounds a bit weird. 2 mana. I definitely just offer the trade. They've gone Elf Go, Land Pass. It probably telegraphs like Khan. Kind of their thing to do. Let's say this turn or something. Get the Titanium play. Yeah, suffer a little bit for having like drawing some pieces of one thing, some pieces of another. We're kind of putting like 2 different kind of combos into our deck. That the cards that enable the combos play well together, but that doesn't necessarily mean that the cards doing. What is the game plan here? Oh, I getting beat down by even one oddities. I think it might be like make Dryad just present blocks. Get it out there, get it in play. We're in a really tough spot because we need both lands and spells. A land gives us access to both sides of Terrace Under. This is
Strange and magnificent world. The land fights for us.
I should have passed. We do hit a land. 4 mana. You now also have the potential to tutor for a creature. This tutors for a 2-drop though. Oh man. 2 seconds. Yeah. 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 3, 4. That's bad. It's just gonna go. Oh dear. Still the festival.
Harness the elements.
This amount is doing work.
Krakens, leviathans, octopuses, serpents. Oh, I love them all.
We can cast Cavalier. If we cast Cavalier, we're like sacrifice. Oh, it's just.
I love to make a splash.
A couple of non-games, unfortunately. I love how this is online because I can target my own stuff. Let's saying go. I wish I could activate. Oh, Titania number 3. Okay. Alright. Game CE match 3, I guess. Alright, match 3. Yeah, keep this. Like, opponents on red. Ooh, Firebrand, tough. What's this gonna look like? Oh, we have a Lotus Cobra. You get a Cobra, hope the Cobra lives, then we can make a turn 3 Dread Presence, which can carry the game here. They have another Firebrand, which is not great. This could be Goblins instead of traditional red, to be fair. Given the Firebrands. No, okay, never mind. Immediately commanders. Alright. That's not the end of the world. One thing about these lands going this way around is that we can't play the Dryad this time. Pretty rough. Go ahead. Queen's pretty big game. Would like to draw a land to play this turn alongside the Dryad. Then we want to dodge an obliterating bolt here because we probably we maybe don't have to block. So. Oh no, they have goblins and also Kumano. Oh, these are big. Block here. We got a 7. We're shooting the goblins. When it attacks me, it's okay. We can shoot down the. What? I guess the way to do it. Rather than the squee. The damage. These are currently swamped, so we want to use the forests. If you can like get a presence out versus red, you can stabilize pretty well just the life gain. We'll see. We'll see. But I'd love to be able to get the reclaiming down that turn. This is still a lot. We get to threaten blocks here at least. Depends what they have for their last 1 mana. feel like I do just have to make the blocks. At the mercy of what they have. Okay, 6. So we have fields. Yeah, I'm happy doing this first. Then we can make the reclaimer and the artisan. I'm also doing this here. Ooh, this is still a 1-2. But we know that we can throw a Dryad away. Oh, we'll see. We got 3 cards. Chief. I guess everything haste. And oh, it makes them cheaper as well. Got the Horde Master. All of a sudden we're staring down quite a lot. We're at 8. It didn't attack with the Horde Master. Okay. Oh dear. Block a 3/4. Right. What else can I afford to block? Oh, that. Whereas none of these are blocking profitably. We're at 8. If I put this here, we take 7, 8, 9, 10. This here. This here. Most efficient. Keep these 2 alive. That get us back in. Maybe. Yeah, it's a rank reclaimer. Now we can reclaim it and get 2. Sack 1 land and get 2 more. There's 2 triggers, which is back up to 5 life. It can block once. That one. Nope. Oh, that's. So before. Oh. Yeah, when's this after block? So they've got this and this gaining haste right now. I want to deny them the haste. I think this still leaves them with some stuff. Get a 4. They haven't activated the Battlecry Goblin. The Presence is just gonna die here. Oh wait, we're 5. We have another one of these. We can get out of 1 again. Oh, probably. We're stalling out, but we're not kind of getting anywhere. Again, we can get 2 landfall triggers. 2 good, right? I feel like we're just. This is probably the last draw. They also have the castle. You really see some of the deck kind of doing its thing here. Nice. Okay. The problem is this Battlecry Goblin gives everything haste. So I don't want to hover it because then they'll see me hover it. And all of a sudden this is not the Quinn anymore. That also makes more creatures. Okay. On game 2. So versus goblins, I want this Baloth because it's the wall. I think I want these power rod kills to try and pick off their lords. Other than that, not a ton. Again, not a matchup we need to tile this track here. The Scavenging Ooze life game might be a little relevant. The Ramanap Excavator is not doing a ton here. We're not kind of relying on golems. The Cavalier has got life link, Pluton is just a big body, which is like fair enough. Then fight some of their lords and things. Reasonable. We're going Titania gains us life, but I still kinda wanna cut. I'm gonna go down on a Phoenix thing because that stuff kinda gets worse here. I have time for it. The one thing about Phoenix where like instead of obviously Birthing Pod is the prototypical alright, you got one of the chain, because you have to pay the full amount with Phoenix it's only it's well, obviously only it's supposed to be because and then you need to pay one and sacrifice a creature in place still. It's just having the mana to activate it for a ton is it's a play here. Obviously don't see any lands, so that's going back. And then we see one. Does have an Elvish Mystic. That's the other thing is that Firebrand's rough got Mystic plus Lotus Cobra. Do we risk them having a Firebrand? If they have the Firebrand, so I think the Malta 5 is... No, we got a 5, we got a 5, we got a 5. Alright, we get to keep one of these, we get to keep... we have to keep the Elf, right? I'm gonna bottom this Argoth, hope we draw some lands. I mean, like, still weak to Firebrand, but kind of not as weak as the other hands were. Just funny to think about. It feels weird, because, like, 26 land deck getting stuck on low lands, you'd think wouldn't occur as often. But it does. It does. The mana base is clunky as well, that's the other thing. Also, if you're still watching, I really appreciate it. Like, you're watching to the end of this, where I'm kind of like showing kind of what the deck does, but like not in like a exciting way. At least I hope it's interesting. So we have the Dread Present, and we have Field of Ruin plus Rapidac Excavator, which is almost a combo, but like not quite. It's like, yeah, almost a combo. See what they do here. Boundary Street. Snoop. Oh, he's coming off the top of the library. No, he's from... Alright, well, as it is, we kind of get to do these things. We kill Snoop here. I'm going to Field of Ruin now, because we have an extra land drop. Give the mana. Yeah, with the Llanowar Elf. I want to cut them off Scoop more than I want to cut them off these other things. Scoop, Snoop. Okay, we kind of made a place for ourselves here. Unfortunately, because Field of Ruin, it's not actually repeatable. Because we need lands on their side to target. Another Dryad. They have a way to draw cards, which is, you know, nice. Kind of toughing it out for a little bit here. Need to draw a card. Well, draw a spell. That gives us cards. There's just so many moving parts, you just don't have that room for stuff. Because, like, I'd love to have a tireless tracker here. I'd love to have, like, a Fiend Artisan here. I'd love to have, like, whatever. But it's like, you only have so much space. You have to, like, sacrifice something for another. This is... What is that? To be fair, if we're doing that. Yeah, this south of Battlefield. Nuts that this is a comeback. We're on 23. At the minute, we're taking 374. I think that's fine, because I think we'll get a chance to block for more. Maybe not blocking the 7 is egregious. Getting the Battle Cry Goblin away, I guess it does get... Oh, well. Get everything I said. And then we drew Elvish Mistake. I think unfortunately we're dead here. It was looking so good. It was looking so good. Kind of ran out of steam. If we had the 5th, like, you could play one of the other, like, River Tears Overlook style lands. The same effect, where it sacrifices, you gain a life when it's the battlefield Gaia basic. I think that's the Naya one is the next one up to run. We're effectively I'll try like that's why I end up getting rid of Fable Passage, because, like, in theory it's good, but it's actually just worse than that all the time. I did have the 5th effect there, but hey, if we had that instead of the Fable Passage, instead of the Field of Ruin there, I think we win that game, which is crazy, but yeah, we just got a bunch more triggers. But hey, hopefully I've showcased, like, a decent amount of what the deck can do. I think the deck's got a ton of potential, but it needs some work, and that's what that's what I've been doing. I've been working on it, iterating a bit. If you've got any ideas, please let me know in the comments. I'm very interested to see what you come up with. Other than that, please do like and subscribe if you're not already. I'd really appreciate it. Other than that, have a great day. Peace out. Take care now. Bye.